Hello everyone and welcome back to the Grandmaster Chess Speedrun where we are playing principled and attacking chess, with the end goal of beating a Grandmaster. Today we are playing a 1700 with, I'm actually not sure, I think that might be the Russian flag that's been blocked on chess.com. But we're putting 2 pawns in the center today. That's what we're always doing, trying to play aggressive chess, sacrificing this pawn on c3, get some quick development, and try and make some threats against the black king. So let's get the bishop out to c4. We've had a lot of very quick wins recently, which is nice. Something I've noticed actually is that players seem to be resigning a bit prematurely, which I wouldn't recommend. I think you can always get more out of the position by trying to be tenacious, but to each their own. Okay, so we got both knights out already, got this bishop out as well. The opponent needs to be very, very careful about some tactics here. I don't think they quite work yet, but it's starting to get sketchy for them. Also, queen to b3. Was already queen b3 as an idea, attacking f7 and b7 now that their bishop has left the defense. And in fact, I think it might just be winning on the spot. So, while we don't normally try and develop the queen early, I've already developed most of my other pieces, and there's enough ammunition to try and support an attack already. And yeah, you got to watch out. This is just a basic fork. Let's play queen b3. Attacks f7, attacks b7. I don't see a clear response for black. And what's good for us as well is that after we capture this pawn on f7, the knight is also loose, and we'll just capture the knight for free. So they've really got a lot to deal with here. This pawn's dropping with pressure on the knight. f7's dropping with pressure on this knight. My other knight can now jump into g5 and start attacking f7 as well. I mean, we've got a huge attack for just the cost of one pawn, and I'm feeling pretty good about the position already. It's worthwhile taking a look at some of the forcing moves. Knight to a5 is always something to watch out for in these positions. But in the case of knight to a4, we would have queen b5, which forces the knight back, and then we could capture this guy. Although, actually, they would play pawn to c6, so maybe not queen to b5. Probably just bishop takes on f7 then. Probably bishop takes on f7, force the king up, and move the queen in or something like that. Or bishop g5 check. I'm not 100% sure what we would have done yet, but it looks quite good. Okay. So we have this. Rook goes to b8. There might also be bishop takes on f7, which is pretty weird. But we deflect the queen away. Play queen takes on b7. Attacks the rook, attacks the knight. And if they want to save their rook with rook b8, we take the knight with a check. Say the bishop drops back. We capture another pawn. Looks good. We win 2 pawns that way. I'd hope there's something better though. Captures rook b8. Queen a6, rook b6. Yeah, you know, bishop takes f7 is kind of funky. Let's play it for the funk factor. Definitely would catch black off guard. They weren't expecting that. So let's take it. Forked. And I would expect rook b8 takes and probably queen d7. In which case, we are a pawn up and could play an endgame. Could play something with knight to d4, guarding the queen. And then just play f3, castles, bishop e3, b3. Pawn up. Can't ask for too much more. We sacked a pawn. Then we cashed it in to gain back 2 pawns. It's not too bad in my books. And we've still got a safer king, some development initiative, so we've not thrown it all away yet. Hard to say if there was something better than bishop takes on f7. if there was, probably the queen b7 line, maybe. But I wasn't too sure how we were ever going to be like winning the knight. So definitely take this. And okay, yeah, he goes, well, she goes for queen to d7. Knight d4, guard the queen. That was my plan. And we're going to play f3. Castle. And yeah, just continue the game from there. Although if the queens get traded, you might not want a castle. The king could be better placed on f2, potentially. So yeah, I'm going to take the queen. Like this. Play f3 to build that pawn chain. And we might get our first endgame, which is quite exciting. I'm an endgame fan for sure. b3 makes loads of sense. We can improve the bishop to this nice diagonal because this pawn is quite weak. Okay, so gonna play this. Could long castle maybe? King probably wants to be, the king probably wants to be on e2, let's be honest. But this does bring a rook to the center very quickly. I think it makes a lot of sense. Lining up the rook with the king. Okay, we can also play something like g4 and knight f5 to secure the knight on this monster outpost forever. We do get this backwards f-pawn, but in exchange for a passed pawn or either a monster knight or a passed pawn, I think it's worthwhile. So let's play the pawn up to g4 and then plant the knight on this amazing square. And if we can put the knight here and take with this pawn as well, it unlocks another good square for this knight. So yeah, let's continue just playing very logical moves and plant the knight in the center. Capture, let's take with this pawn and open up this square for the knight to jump in as well. I'm liking this position more and more. We have an extra pawn, and it's a passed pawn that's really close to promoting. So let's put the knight on the square that we just carved out. And we can take back this way. Now we're attacking this pawn already. And if you try and defend it with a rook, well, so long. That pony now jumps in with a fork. Okay, well, we can take a pawn with an attack on the bishop. So I don't know why we wouldn't do that. And now we've got a bunch of passed pawns, which is very scary for them. Very scary indeed. I think the easy move here is just pawn to h3, guarding here, and we oppose the h-file. So let's play h3. The pawn is very nicely supported now. And we can always return our knight to the e4 square as well. So yeah, I think we're pretty much completely winning now. We've got 3 connected passed pawns. They're just going to worm their way up. This is like the worm. They're pretty nasty. Hard to stop. Also, an annoying move would be rook to h8. Just putting a pin on the bishop, making it hard for black to move. And yeah, I think we should go for it. Making sure the rook's on a dark square, the king's on a dark square, so the light squared bishop can't do anything to us. Okay, I'm also starting to see some tactics here. Like this rook check could be quite good because it forces the king to this passive square. As if the king steps up, we have knight to e4, forces the king here, and rook to e7, which collects the bishop. So let's play this because the active moves don't seem very good. And if the king goes here, well, then we have knight e6. So opponent has now blundered their bishop because the rook has lost is no longer defending it. And we are going to take that guy. I could be really nasty here and play knight takes pawn, grabbing another pawn as well, which is pretty brutal. Pretty brutal if you ask me. Yeah, let's go for it. Throw in one more tactic, exploiting the pin here, grabbing another pawn, and we're going to take this bishop, also end up collecting these pawns in the future, and this f pawn is going to run to victory as well. So game is effectively over. If they capture this way and try and capture here, then this f pawn will just run up, and that is a win. Thank you for the game. It was a nice game. Let's take a look at the analysis. Okay, so a 91.1 accuracy. Even though that game went to the end game, it was still actually only a 30-move game. So relatively short. I think the average chess game is something like 38 to 40 moves. So let's take a look at the opening, see what went well, what could be done better. Queen to b3 was good. Yeah, it's just a fork, simple fork. And they found queen d7, which is good. We should have gone for knight to g5, adding more pressure to this pawn. I wasn't too sure about knight h6. But now, engine says here, here, take it. And what's the point? Play this? Yeah, bishop d7. And just castle. Okay. It's a pretty obscure way to play. We don't actually win back any of our material. So it's a little bit weird. Okay, I don't really get it, to be honest. But we cash in the check, collect back our pawn. Engine wanted king to d7, sacrificing the rook, bringing the queen in, and what, taking this pawn? Oh no, that the knight's defending it. I don't know what the engine wanted. Knight jumps in, maybe? No, this is terrible. Okay, I don't know what the engine was up to be honest, again. I might have to turn it on. How is this good for black? Or at least not good for black, maybe equal. Maybe it's this? Just develop? No, it's losing. Maybe, knight to b4. No. No? Okay, bishop e3. Bishop e3 wins against everything. Oops. No. It looks like bishop e3 wins against literally everything, so I don't know what black's doing. I'm going to have to take a look at the lines. Wow, g6, exclam. Okay. These lines are pretty fishy, I won't lie. I don't know how this is equal. I guess the bishop's coming in here, it's going to take the knight. Yeah, queen b7 makes sense. And this is losing again. Okay, these lines are very, very fishy. Somehow the engine manages to untangle by putting the two knights like this. It's pretty weird. But okay. We end up winning back material, trades here, f3 solidify the position, b3 stops the bishop. And oh wait, we missed a chance actually to trap their bishop. That's a little bit sloppy. That's a little bit sloppy. I was just wanted to develop. Why is g4 not winning anymore? Oh, because they're attacking our knight, of course. And then they freed it up, and we got this passed pawn. Okay, so we missed one tactic, which is a bit poor. But we found a bunch of other tactics, ended up taking our extra pawn to victory, and yeah, smooth sailing really. So hopefully this style was helpful for you. You can try and implement some of these ideas in your own games, get some wins, climb that rating ladder. Good luck to you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!